My passion for cars runs deep. Whenever I see something unique or something cool on the road, it immediately grabs my attention. So when Lee and Lee teamed up with Lamborghini to launch the 011 EVO Lamborghini Edition, my creative gears started turning. I checked out some press materials and I immediately knew that I had to build something special with this case. Something that embodies the automotive excellence that Lamborghini is known for. Because when you think of Lamborghini, you think about performance, you think about exotic design, the fact that it's iconic. Driving one is a visceral experience. So I kept asking myself, how can I build a PC that mirrors the excitement around fast cars? First off, I didn't want to compromise on performance. I set out to find the fastest components without sacrificing aesthetics. I also wanted to play around with design, maybe integrate some color, and I didn't want to overpopulate the interior with RGB, but just add something subtle and permanent. So I started off with MSI's Meg X670E. This is one of the heaviest motherboards that I've ever got my hands on. It has USB ports for life, and it was one of the cleanest matte black boards, and a simple BIOS update allowed me to pair it with AMD's fastest CPU, the Ryzen 9 9950X. For graphics, we've got MSI's RTX 4080 Super Expert, which in my opinion is one of the best looking GPUs out there, aside from the Founders Edition. Team Group is backing us up with their Expert 32GB DDR5 kit and their T-Force G70 Gen 4 SSD. And to keep the power-hungry 9950X cool, Lee & Lee came through with their HydroShift AIO cooler. Now what's cool about the system is how the tubes are neatly routed against the radiator. It actually gives it a sleek, minimalistic look, and that's what I was going for. Among all the components, the one that I was most excited to unbox was most certainly the case. It's just designed to mirror Lamborghini's signature style, even down to the, pardon me, my talent's not great, but the Giallo Orion color code. It was a limited run, and I was lucky enough to get my hands on a very rare 0000 batch. There are a few things that make this case stand out from the standard 011 EVO. First of all, it's the unique carbon fiber extensions that start from the top panel that continue all the way to the case feet. This is a material that's extensively used in exotic cars to reduce weight while maintaining durability, and the aesthetics, it's just so unique with this distinctive woven texture that's sought out by a lot of car enthusiasts. So this was a perfect integration. You also get a 5-inch display pre-installed at the back, inspired by Lamborghini's gauge clusters. So this showcases real-time CPU and GPU stats and some Orion color accents throughout the case. Now, I wasn't a fan of the glossy finish on these carbon fiber extensions. The reflective surface made it really hard to appreciate the texture. So I reached out to my friends at Kodawari Collective to help me come up with a solution. Now, who's the owner of this wonderful establishment, looked at these pieces and suggested applying PPF, also known as paint protection film. These guys specialize in car care, car restorations, and car modifications. So we ended up applying Stex Dynomat film, and the results were absolutely amazing. The carbon fiber pieces now had a beautiful matte finish that really brought out the texture that I initially envisioned. It just transformed the look of the case. And coming to think about it, it was the first step to connect this build with the spirit of cars. So with the exterior part of the case taken care of, I shifted my focus towards the components going into this build. And I wanted to make a statement piece. I was aiming for the perfect contrast. The matte black parts looked great alongside the bronze GPU, but I just felt like it needed something different. And since some of the components, like the memory heat spreaders, the SSD heatsink, the GPU shroud, and the metal piece that goes on the AIO radiator are made out of aluminum, the idea hit me. Why not powder coat some of these pieces to the Orion color code to match the case accents and channel Lamborghini's iconic style? Because powder coating is yet another popular modification that's sought out by car enthusiasts. They use this to enhance the look of their cars. It essentially adds personality to their rides. And for a car-inspired PC built like this, it was a perfect finishing touch to make it truly stand out. So I reached out to Ronan from Roar Designs, who was a reference from Corduroy Collective. I mean, it's crazy. Once you start getting involved in the car community, you just start meeting cool people who are in the industry, who have been in the business for so long. And Ronan was pretty clear with this project. I mean, I did mention it and he was like, it's crazy, but let's make it happen. So he's pretty clear. I can't have any plastic materials and there can't be any residue on the parts before powder coating. So I carefully disassembled the GPU, which took some patience. The biggest challenge was detaching the fan cables from the PCB, but I finally got that sorted. I cleaned the excess residue from the GPU shroud left by the thermal pads with some isopropyl alcohol. I then tackled the heat spreaders on the memory. Now, removing the adhesive was a test of patience. It was so strong to a point where it took half the day to peel just one side of each DIMM. Originally, I planned to paint the entire heat spreader, but one of the sides was just super glued to the PCB and I didn't want to risk damaging it. Ultimately, I realized a two-tone look would add even more character to the build, so I left it as is. I gathered all the parts, dropped it off to Ronan's shop, and waited for almost a week to get it back. So in the meantime, another wild idea hit me. I know, these just keep getting wilder and wilder. Imagine this build, fully complete, sitting side by side with an actual Lamborghini in the same stunning color. How epic would that be? Now, for starters, I obviously can't afford a Lamborghini, and I didn't know anybody with a car in that color, so the hunt was on. I needed to track down a car in that color within the GTA to see if I could maybe rent it for a day, just to get that perfect shot of the PC sitting beside the car. I then came across this beautiful Huracan EVO from GTA Exotics based in Hamilton. Stuart, who's the owner, was incredibly accommodating even when I shared this wild idea. They actually have a wide range of exotic cars that you can rent for a day, and yeah, we locked in a date to rent the Lamborghini, but here's the catch. I was still waiting on the components from Ronan, and the build was far from complete. So the timeline was very tight. A few days before the shoot, I get a text from Ronan saying that the components are ready for pickup. So I dropped everything that I was working on. I jumped on the car and picked up the parts, headed straight back to the studio in a rush, and dove straight into this build. The first step was to reassemble the GPU, which went smoothly. I even designed a custom Lamborghini sticker for the fans to tie in with the Lamborghini theme. I also picked up some double-sided adhesive thermal pads for the memory heat spreaders, and honestly, guys, seeing everything come together into one piece was surreal. I couldn't believe this build was finally becoming a reality. I can't believe that this PC is finally complete. and it looks exactly like I envisioned from the very beginning. The star of the show is undoubtedly the case, but that GPU, striking color, really embodies the bold aesthetics of high-performance supercars like the Lamborghini. The matte black motherboard blends in seamlessly with the rest of the build, and with the GPU mounted vertically, it gives the impression that it's floating, which is pretty sick. The HydroShift cooler is arguably one of the best AIOs I've ever worked with, both in terms of installation and aesthetics. Those neatly routed tubes are a brilliant design choice from Lian Li. I even added a Lamborghini logo reveal clip on the LCD. It might be a bit tacky, but hey, it's a Lamborghini-themed gaming PC, so I think it fits perfectly. The two-tone finish on the memory modules turned out fantastic, creating a cohesive and sort of an eye-catching look. I also noticed that the metal piece attached to the radiator, now that's powder-coated, sort of subtly reveals itself on the outside through the top panel, and that itself adds an unexpected yet beautiful touch. I wrapped up this build with some unifans from Lian Li. The halo lighting around the perimeter of these fans, in my opinion, evokes that sharp and bold design of the Huracan EVO. It just puts everything together really well. This project has been in the works for the past 3 months, and now that it's complete, I've realized that it's not just another gaming PC, but rather an homage to automotive passion. Because beyond specs, I think it's about the people that I've fortunately been able to work with to make this happen. I'm grateful for everyone who was able to contribute their time and skills to make this thing a reality. From Now with his expertise in PPF, to Ronan with powder coating, to Derek and Lewis from Project One who helped me film the car alongside the case. If you guys haven't heard of Project One, stop what you're doing, go subscribe to their channel because they make some of the best automotive content, in my opinion, and the storytelling is beautiful. And watching them work together was really inspiring for me, and I've learned a lot just seeing them work together. So yes, you guys are awesome. Thank you very much for being a part of this journey. Are there things that I don't like about this build? Yes. First and foremost, I didn't realize that these side tempered glass panels are mirrored. So I might have to replace that with the stock tinted panels from the standard O11 EVO case. I might play around with some Alcantara material with Orion stitching on the inside. It's another crazy idea, but we'll see how that goes. But guys, thank you so much for being a part of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and let us know what you guys think about this build. Are there any things that you would add or maybe remove? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. But until then, spend responsibly.